We're here today with Shannon Larkin, the drummer for Godsmack. They're coming to the Xcel Energy Center in St. Paul on September 26th. Shannon, how you doing, man?
Hi, I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, you bet.
Big first show.
Yeah, let's talk about the show coming up here, Godsmack at the Xcel Energy Center in St. Paul, September 26th. Looks like you guys are playing with Chevelle and Nothing More, a couple other bands. I mean, this is a pretty big bill here.
Yeah, it's going to be a really cool show, and it's our first show back out on tour after having done the Vibes tour, which was a completely different set list, completely different vibe. And so we're going to come back out with our big set, and we're very excited to start in Minnesota. 3 out of 4 of us live down here in Florida, and man, it's been so brutally hot. Minnesota's going to be like a breath of fresh air to us. We can't wait.
I know Godsmack was here in Minnesota earlier this year. You guys make it through pretty regularly. I know Minnesota has a lot of Godsmack fans.
Yes, it does. And it's a beautiful city, and it's always treated us well. They've always been with us since the inception of the band, first record. Always done well in Minneapolis and St. Paul, and for, over 20 years now.
Well, you mentioned this will be the first show for this new leg here. What do you guys do? I mean, you've been doing this a long time, so what do you do to prepare for when you go on a tour like this?
Well, Tony, the guitar player, Rambola, the great, lives, like 10 minutes away from me in Southwest Florida here. And so we, on our time off, like we just had a 2-month break. And so him and I rehearse. When we get the new set from Sully, we'll just guitar and drums. We'll rehearse here at my house and keep tight. Keep our chops up. Keep physicality up. That's the thing for me, man. If I take 2 months off and just don't play drums, then God, that first show will kill me. So I have to keep playing. So the whole band, Robbie lives about 5 hours away, and Sully's still up in Boston area. So Tony and I just keep tight like that, and then we're going to come to somewhere there in some arena. It's not the venue we're playing, but we have some place to rehearse for a couple days. So the whole band and the whole production, the whole 40 crew members and everybody gets together, and we all just run the set and get everything together. Because it's not just the 4 of us. The crew is, it's extremely, the old saying, the band make us rock, but the roadies make it roll, and that's the truth. So we have to rehearse the set with them too. So we have a couple days in your beautiful city to rehearse and get ready for the first show, and we're looking super forward to it, man.
Excellent. Yeah, I guess this is a good problem to have, but Godsmack has enough hits now to where you probably can't fit them all in the set list every night. So I'm sure you guys got to change things up quite a bit.
Yeah, it's been one of those Catch-22 issues, it's like, wow, man, kind of sick of this song, but, the fans love it, and it's all for the fans anyway. We're out there, touring. It's work after a couple years we've been out now, so, that's why the long breaks now at the end of this will be our final tour for this year, and probably for Lighting Up the Sky, the record. But we have a unique, cool set list for all of y'all. And we're going to showcase, from the day one all the way to the last record and try and get material in. It's tough, like you say, to pick the right songs for the fans. But sometimes it's a song that just goes live well, like Moon Baby or something that the fans just love, but it wasn't even a single or a hit like at radio,
Sure.
So we still have to service those kind of deep cuts too. So it is, man, and Sully's genius at that stuff. He's the man. He's the dude. He always makes a great list, and we got a great one for you.
Awesome. Again, Godsmack will be at the Xcel Energy Center in St. Paul here September 26th. And Shannon, I know I've read you've officially joined Godsmack, I know back in 2002, but I read you were maybe supposed to be in the band even way before that. It sounds like you and Sully go way back.
Yeah, I was in a band in the 80s called Wrathchild America. We were like on that thrash scene thing when thrash was starting to pop. And Sully Erna was in a band called Lex Luthor, and they opened for my band Wrathchild in North Carolina. He had a brief amount of time. If you've seen his movie, it's in his story's in there. But he ended up in Carolinas, And that's where, ironically, we met as his band opening up for Wrathchild, and I thought, wow, they opened up with a Metallica song, I remember, and I'm like, wow, that drummer's killer. So I ended up talking to him. He came back to my room. We partied. This was, 86, 87. And, so there's no cell phones or anything. So we wrote our numbers down, man, and we just stayed in touch throughout the years and became friends like that. Like when I would tour through Boston, he would come out and come early to sound check, and we'd go get food or whatever. And so we just, as drummers, just clicked, and as people clicked and became friends. And so when it came time for Sully, oh man, he quit drumming and was fed up with the music business. So, he had the idea to sing, and, he wasn't a singer, and a lot of hard work, and he got it done, man, and everybody recognized really that he has a unique voice, and it's very recognizable, like when you hear it on the radio. And as soon as he starts to sing, most people go, oh, shoot, Godsmack, And so he had that thing. Well, meanwhile, I'm in L.A., and I had gone through a band called Ugly Kid Joe in the 90s.
Sure.
And Sully had got it all together, man, and his drummer, Joe Darko, wasn't working out. He had drug issues and all this crap. And so Sully called me, and I had just signed a record deal with Roadrunner on this band called Amen that Ross Robinson was producing, and he was famous at the time for Korn and Limp Bizkit. And so, I was like, man, I loved my guys and spent a year and a half in clubs trying to get signed and all that stuff. You turn into brothers real quick. And so I said, dude, I can't do it. And so, the rest is kind of history. Godsmack comes out, sells 5 million. Amen comes out and sells, 50,000 or something. And I was like, oh man, maybe it's not in my cards. And then lo and behold, they had replaced Joe Darko with Tommy Stewart, and their personalities conflicted, Tommy and Sully, and they just couldn't get along, man. And so Sully called me and said, hey, dude, it's not an audition. If Tony and Robbie like you, you're in. And at the time, and this was, talk about, just fate or whatever, this was 2 weeks after I had quit Amen. And so the phone rings, man, and it was my destiny. I was like, oh my God, Sully, what's up? He's like, dude, it's time. Because I couldn't do it the first time. He's like, it's time. And I was like, oh man, it's on.
So how is that for you, having the frontman be a former drummer? Does that help you at all, kind of when you're putting songs together, to kind of know, what each other might be thinking as far as the drumming goes?
Absolutely. That's the positive side. Everything has its double-edged sword in this business, but you know what I mean? Sometimes it was, we oh man, in our younger days, we were, feisty and drinking, and we would be screaming at each other in the face, man. Like, he'd be standing over my kick drum. Tony and Rod would be standing back. Oh my God, are they going to punch each other? Like, it never came to blows, thank God, because he kicked my ass. But we'd scream so much because he would be like, oh, this drum fill, is too busy or not busy enough. And I'm like, I'm the drummer, you're young. And, oh, man. But the cool thing and what made it actually, in retrospect, easier was, he's the chief songwriter, too. And so, he would come with a beat that was dope. And he's a great drummer. So I never had any issues with the beats. It's when it got under the microscope for fills and stuff that the tensions would rise. But
sure.
And all in all, at the end, and especially as we got older and our sound was mellowing away more towards hard rock than heavy metal, that's when everything sort of loosened out. We had the same feel for the fills and the beats and stuff. So there was a lot less tension than back in those first couple metal records when we were, making more intricate arrangements and so forth.
Well, Shannon, I know Godsmack's last album, Lighting Up the Sky, you guys have officially said that'll be the final one. Is that still the case, or could we maybe see maybe a single here or there coming out over the years?
No, that's still the case. But, in retrospect, it was prophetic because, people don't really buy records anymore. And with the way that everything's changed into streaming, it's and the ADD attention span of the world now, the kids, it seems like, don't seem so interested in taking like a 45 or 50-minute journey and listen to a 9-10 song record and take the valleys and peaks and the trip, man. But, Nowadays, it's more about, the song. So in the future, I wouldn't doubt if Godsmack records a song, just because, the intent is to keep touring. It's a touring band, right? Always has been. Always will be, as long as it's together. So we're looking at it like, one time we did this festival. We agreed to go out with Motley Crue, right? And on their Crew Fest and be direct support, and their one stipulation was like, look, man, we to, I guess, advertise for the tour, because we were, by the way, at the tail end of a record cycle. So we were all done with singles and all that stuff and touring it out, preparing to go and write the next record or whatever when Motley Crue approached us and said, hey, you guys come tour. So their stipulation was that we record a song to put the radio, just a single, and then, and so we're like, oh, okay. This was, God, I can't remember, 10 years ago maybe. And so it wasn't an everyday thing where you just release a single and go tour. But we made a song in 2 or 3 days. We got together and said, hey, Motley Crue wants a song. And so, like I said, we were drinkers back then and stuff. And so we made this song called Whiskey Hangover and put it out as a single. And by George, it went to #1 at Acid Rock, where we live. And the tour and all that. And so I think in the future, if we go out and tour, if Godsmack goes out and tours, which we will, then we'll probably go in the studio and make a single and release just a song, to kind of have some fresh blood. Because at this point in our career, everybody wants to hear the old stuff, and I get it. If I go see Jane's Addiction, for instance, since they're all hot right now or whatever, because that idiot hit his guitar player, But anyway, if I went to see Jane's Addiction back in the day, like when they put the Strays record out, that was a great record, and I like that record. But when they play songs off that record, that's when I go get a beer, you know what I mean? Or
sure.
Go to the bathroom or whatever and can step away because, so that's always been something that us rocker dudes, have to deal with, and as well as playing all the singles and stuff like that, gosh, we played for so long and so many times, but every single show you have to put the same emotion into that song. You got to re-feel that song, you know what I mean? Because crowds don't want to see you go up there, and our fans know we don't just go through the motions, If we're having a lit night, it's lit. If not, well, we're trying our best,
Sure.
We don't run tape and any of that crap, we're one of the last few bands. I'm so proud of it, and nothing against all the bands, but we don't run click tracks and tape machines. Like, all the noise you hear is coming from either, electronic pads behind my kit, like if you hear some strange noise that isn't an instrument, or it can be run, from the side of the stage on the monitorboard, but without a click. And same thing with our video. And we have a really, by the way, everybody that's hearing this, man, there's a really cool video show that's going to run behind us, that kind of ties the whole show together. And it's really cool. Sully came up with it and edited it with Paris Vizone, a photographer and videographer. Anyway, they made this super cool video that's going to be dope.
Well, as you mentioned, you've been in quite a few other bands over your career, and I know you've done a lot of session work, working with Glenn Tipton and Vanilla Ice, a lot of different kind of people. When Godsmack's not on the road, would you be open to maybe recording new music or maybe solo stuff, something like that?
Absolutely, man. I have bands. I've been putting out. I have a blues thing that's a psychedelic blues rock, we call it, because it's not traditional blues, but it's mainly blues and based on blues. But it's anyway, it's called the Apocalypse Blues Revival, and we got 3 records out on the Apocalypse Blues Review and the Apocalypse Blues Revival. 2 different blues bands, 2 different singers. I stay busy, man, when we're off. And next year I'm going to release a band called Spirit Wheel, in which I got my original guitar player, Terry Carter of Wrathchild America, back to help write, and just featured him on a record of my songs that I'm going to try and release next year at some point. And so, yeah, man, I definitely, all of us try and stay busy when we're not, doing the Godsmack thing. And I always tell musicians, oh, man, always try and explore outside of your genre. So, right? So if you're in a metal band or rock band or something, try and play a different genre, jazz, blues, country, funk, whatever it may be. It's good for you as a player, and it's good for the soul, because then you don't get locked into the same thing over and over, right?
Sure.
So it brings originality back to your metal or rock band if you play funk all weekend, you know? That's just my philosophy.
Definitely. Well, Shannon, I know the tour is just gearing up here. Is there anything else maybe we should be watching out for?
No, man, I covered the video. Not sure if we're blowing stuff up this time. I don't know if we're bringing pyro. But like I said, we have it's a kind of thematic show, themed, you know, and you'll get it when you see it, but it's all tied together through the video that they come up with, and it's really cool. So, and again, we're very excited to be coming to St. Paul, Minnesota, and get out of this Florida heat for a minute, baby, and start the tour there. It's going to be beautiful.
Excellent. It's been great speaking with you. I'm excited for the show here, and it's great that you're keeping busy, and hopefully we can speak again sometime. Thank you so much, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, Dustin. I'll hopefully see you there.
All right, sounds good. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, buddy. See ya.
And again, that was Shannon Larkin from Godsmack, and they're coming to the Excel Energy Center in St. Paul coming up September 26th.